Alright, sup everybody, welcome back to the Path of Rage. Today is the Friday video. For the last few weeks I've been doing the second episode per week of Starfield. However, engagement on that is a little bit lower than I'd like. Some of you are interested in it, most of you are not. However, my Tuesday video on Star Citizen is hands down now the best video on my channel. Apparently a lot of you are interested in this game now and what was shown at CitizenCon. So we're going to do a little bit more of that today. However, instead of focusing on the single player game itself or the flashy engine trailer, which I will get to, that's probably the next video. Instead of focusing on the flashy end trailer, today we're going to take a look at the work that they've been doing on what they call server meshing. This is an absolutely game-changing technology. This will revolutionize the industry. This is my personal opinion. But now that they've showed this working, that's the video we're going to watch. And watch this all on display, working in real time. Once you start imagining what it's possible to do with this technology, especially in regard to MMOs with thousands of players and whatnot, you realize that what CIG has done here has just, it's redefined what the technology behind online multiplayer games, especially MMOs, is and could be. This will change the gaming industry absolutely forever. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. So, without any further ado, let's get into a bit more technical video, but one that really explains an upcoming change of technology that will affect the gaming landscape. I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into it. Alright folks, and now we're going to get into this video. A quick little reminder for those of you who don't really pay attention too much to the tech side of things. The way things work right now in massively multiplayer online games is individual servers run shards with a certain amount of people on them, and once that limit is exceeded, another instance is spun up, and that has a certain amount of people on it, and so on and so forth. So you get 5, 10, 15, whatever, all of them being run on their own servers, and they can't interact with each other. It's why when you play games like World of Warcraft, say, you can't play with your teammates and your friends unless you're on the same server. Same with Guild Wars. My son and I could not play together unless we were on the same server. What we're about to see here completely obliterates that idea. And it changes servers from hardware that runs a certain specific area and nothing else, and nothing connected, to taking multiple servers to run whatever is needed. So instead of having, like in Star Citizen, you have full planetary systems. Well, instead of having one server run the planet and its moons and all the locations on the planet and its moons and the space stations and the players and the AI, all of that kind of stuff, all at once on a single server, this technology allows them to break it up. So a certain section of the city could be run on a server. And then when you leave that section of the city to another one, that is run on a server as well. Ships themselves, the bigger capital ships, can be their own server with this technology. This is a staggering development in game technology. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I was blown away by this. Let's get in.
All right. Hello, everyone. So, persistent entity streaming, replication layer, and beyond. My name is Paul Reindel. I'm Director for Online Technology. And I'm going to show you a little bit insight in our technology for persistent entity streaming and the replication layer.
Unfortunately, the Twitch stream
I
was
thought
slightly
about
out of
what's
sync.
the best way to show you something about that tech, and I thought about putting some technical drawings on the slides, or maybe show video, like we did 2 years ago. But really, the best way to show you how persistent entity streaming works is to give you a live demonstration, and that's what I'm going to do. All right. So this will all be live, so please bear with me if there's any glitches.
For those of you not following Star
I
Citizen
think I'm
at all,
supposed to
or
press
didn't know
the
anything
button.
about
No,
it before,
it's already switched.
this technology is at
Before
the
we start,
core of the
a
game's
little
vision.
bit,
If they couldn't pull
just
this
give you a
off,
little
Star
bit of an
Citizen
overview
was
what you
done.
see here. Let me set up everything.
Or at least what they wanted to do with Star Citizen was done.
One moment, sorry. So on this left side, you will see my client window. And on the bottom side, you will see the server renderer. So for this demonstration, and I start a second client, I'm just stopping that. Sorry about that.
I love these live demonstrations because when the things go wrong, it's proof that
So again, on this
this is
side,
not
you
just
see
a
the client.
video they're showing you.
And he just logged out because I started a second client. So let's do this again. One more time. On this side, you see the server renderer, which is currently, it has nothing streamed in. I'm showing a small demonstration level. And on this side, you see the entity graph, which is our online database. That's powering what you see in persistent entity streaming, what you play since 3.18. And I also have some metrics on the screen, which shows the entity graph worker, the requests per minute, per second, the mutations, and you also will see entities created and destroyed once I do that. All right. So
Obviously, there won't be too much need for me to
wait
talk
for my
through
client
this.
to come up and join this level.
You'll want to hear his explanations for what's going.
So the first thing that will happen when I join this level, you will see on that server everything streams in, and my client gets connected and also streams in everything on the client view. What would happen on the behind the scenes is that my player just got unstowed into that chart, and we at real time created everything for this player. So you will see his body is attached to the player. You will see his mobi-glass, his head with all his customizations, his undersuit, and then all his customizations as well on the
I
undersuit.
never noticed that the head teeth is a separate
What
entity.
you also see is that this player just got unstowed and attached to a static zone object container. And this is how our zone system works. Basically, on the server, you will see 3 different zones, purple, green, and red. And each zone comes with its own coordinate system and its own physical grid. And this is how we actually, on live, do zone transitions between your ship, empty space, space station, or a planet. And you will see, as I walk between those zones, I will, at real time, update it in that entity graph. And this all happens seamless. So for a client, this is completely transparent. You don't notice that. But this is actually what's happening when you step in or out into a ship. And this is very unique to our engine. No other engine has this zone system. And that allows us to do all the amazing stuff you saw in the videos before, transitioning in and out of planets and go from the smallest scope to the largest scope.
I'm going to pause it for a second. One thing to keep in mind before, I think I mentioned this in the last video, but again, for new people, this game also has absolutely no loading screens. That's the one thing to keep in mind. Everything in this game is streamed in and streamed out in real time. The way this game works, you load the game out of the launcher. It brings you to the main menu. You pick where you to go into the persistent universe or arena command or whatever. When you pick the persistent universe, you have a fairly decent load time, but nothing too bad. It's not egregious. But once you get into the game, there is never a loading screen again after that. Everything he's showing you, this, even though this is a small test level, everything he's showing you, things are streamed in and out in this game on the fly without loading screens. And as one of my main frustrations in Starfield is the loading screens, I cannot tell you how much more I prefer this.
So, everything we do in a shard, so this is like a mini level, like the mini PU level, is also persisted in this database. When we create new entities in our engine, in Star Engine, those entities get pushed into our entity graph, into our online database at real time, and then from there replicated to our clients. So if I go ahead and spawn a couple of plushies here, you will see they spawn, they get created immediately on my entity graph and replicated on the server and on the client. So spawn a couple more here. And you see this, the pengus I spawn in the other zone get attached to the other zone. And then if I go and transition one of those, they will also transition between the different zones. And the same works for ships or more complex entities. If I spawn this buggy here, you will see this one gets created with all its attachments and everything else attached to it. And this is just my small demo level here. On live, we have up to 600,000 dynamic entities that get created for one single shard. And this is just the initial state. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks of gameplay, when you guys go in and destroy stuff, spawn stuff, play around, it goes in the millions of entities. So this in itself is pretty amazing tech. The next time I want to talk about is our streaming system.
I was just talking
most
about.
Engines do stream on texture or geometry. We actually stream entities, and we do stream persistent entities. So when I turn on the streaming system here and I walk into this, if I walk over to the red area, you will see that the purple area will stream out together with all the entities on that server. So it does not only stream out on my client, it actually streams out on that server. And when I come back in the green zone, that purple zone streams back in with all the entities in there with their full persistent state.
Even in an unoptimized state, this works really well right now.
I have a second player joined. Benoit is going to join me. So Ben, if you want to join, okay, I think you see him over there. Hey, Ben. Sorry. Nice. All right, I'm going to spawn a couple more penguins here. Because the next thing I want to talk about is new technology we are right now developing, and we are about to put on the tech preview for you to play. And this is actually the replication layer split.
This is where it starts getting good, folks.
And that's the big next step in our great vision, obviously, as you might know. So in this demo, my client and my servers, they are no longer directly connected. Actually, I have a new service running here, and that is our replication service. So my client is connected to this replication service, and my server is connected to this replication service. And the replication service, the sole purpose is to get all the entities which are in the entity graph and stream them to clients and servers which are connected to. And what's really cool about this is, let's do a little experiment here. I mean, you all know our game has bugs. It's still alpha, and sometimes things can happen.
The dreaded 30K.
So let's see what's happening
they're about to talk
when
about.
I kill my server here. And so this is my server, the actual console. So let's just shut it down.
Those of you who've never played Star Citizen, this is what it looks like when the server crashes.
And yes, this is
You
where
can
would
still move
usually
and do
see a
stuff.
30K or something. You can
But
see
everything
Benoit
else is
kind
frozen.
of froze there for a bit. And the buggy does a bit weird stuff. I can shoot those pingus, but the world is really in a frozen state right now.
The only way to fix a 30K in Star Citizen's live alpha environment right now is to log out. Wait a minute or so and then log back in, and hopefully the server will have spun back up, and cross your fingers you'll end up back where you started without losing anything or whatnot. But that's the only way. This is something different.
But I didn't disconnect because I'm connected to the replication layer and not to the server anymore. In the meantime, I'm just starting a new server. Let's be a bit patient for it. It should come back online in a second. And as you can see, now that the server came back,
Boom.
it restored the state.
So instead of crashing out to main menu anymore, now you just have a slight pause
restored
and the game
state,
picks up.
And the simulation just continues to work as before. So this will be, again, this is very early tech, but this is a great benefit of what we have with our replication layer split. But there's one more thing. And let's try this thing again. I just killed my server, and I'm trying to do that again. But this time, we're doing something different. So let's first go in here. This is my development tool. I can talk about it in a second. So let's stop that server again.
Yep. 30K, the crash
restart.
happens. Server dies.
And this will take a little bit. I'm running this tool you see here. This is our internal development tool. This tool runs the entire stack of our game on this PC. This is obviously for development only, and I can do that with my small test level. But this really helps online devs and all people who work on the incredible, complicated tech we hear to be able to develop our game. And because I run everything on this PC, it's a bit slow. So let's wait and see what's happening here. All right. Simulation continues. I can see Ben moving again. Hey, Ben. However, what just happened? Well, as you can see on my screen, I no longer have one server connected. I have 3 servers connected to this replication layer.
Server meshing.
So what you guys see here, this is the very first version of a working server mesh.
I cannot emphasize how big this is, folks. I can't. This is incredible that they pulled this off. And it's one of the reasons Star Citizen has taken 10 years to develop so far.
So now I'm going to explain a little bit how this magic works, because it is truly magic. Each server, when it came up and the replication layer realized there are 3 servers, we assigned different zones to those servers. And we said, OK, server 1, you are the authority over the purple area. Server 2, you are the authority over the green area. And the last server is authoritative over the red area. You can still see that those servers have all those entities replicated, but only the entities within their zone are actually authoritative on that server. So while I'm in this green zone at the moment, my entity is simulated on that green server and just replicated on the other server. And now, as I transition between those zones,
See it down here?
you will see that on that green server, I just lost authority, and on that purple server, I just gained authority. And because my player was replicated on both servers, this completely works seamless. And again, let's do that a couple of times. You see on my client here,
back and
I don't
forth.
notice
And you can see it
anything
changing here
This
too.
This all happens behind the scenes.
See? Went over here.
And this doesn't work only on me. Let's turn on the zone colors and the object, the authority assignment on the client as well. You can see that even entities, as they transition into the other zone, seamlessly transition to that zone.
The whole idea behind Star
And not only
Citizen
that,
is to have everybody
I can
playing
also
together
interact with entities
in the
that
same
are on the
world.
other side. So if I go on the screen zone, for example, and I shoot this, I can still shoot that purple entity. And I can also just go ahead and destroy that buggy which sits on that other zone.
So he's shooting from one server into another right now.
Always fun to blow stuff up, right?
Now think about what this could mean for gigantic
All right.
multiplayer games.
So there's more to this. The
Dude.
first thing I will do, let's spawn a fresh buggy. I just destroyed mode 1. When I go into this buggy, I will become part of the aggregate. And that means that now my buggy and myself will transition authority together. And this is how we make sure that my player, while he's driving this buggy, is always authoritative on the same server. So you can see, as I drive around with this buggy between the zones, I will switch between the different servers. All right. But there's more to this. So remember when I turned on the streaming earlier? The same streaming mechanics work here as well. Like, obviously, in this example right now, you can see all those servers, they have all those entities replicated. And it's a little bit wasteful because you have 3 servers, all need to replicate all those entities. And that's where streaming comes into play. I can turn on streaming here, and you will see that suddenly my purple server no longer has the red area streamed in. And the red server no longer has the purple area streamed in. So let's see what's happened when I drive my buggy backwards into that red, into the red zone. What happens on that purple server?
Boom.
And I just disappear. So right now, on this server, there's only Benoit replicated. And Benoit, if you come to me over in the red area, you will see that now on this server, there's no client at all. And in theory, we could now completely stream out the entire area on that server.
This will help
stream in a new
performance so much. So much. I can't wait to start testing this stuff,
as I drive
guys.
back into the green area, I will magically reappear on that purple server. And this obviously works on the other side as well. Let's get a couple more player join. I have a couple more QA in the back, so you can just see the whole thing running in live with a bit more things going on.
Yeah, now they're going to have multiple devs running back and forth.
Let me get out of this buggy.
But the fact that this is possible
And you
is
will
incredible.
see on each server renderer which clients are currently replicated on those servers and which clients are actually authoritative on those servers. You can see this, the green server, because it's the middle one, has most entities replicated. And then you can see this purple one at the moment only has one client replicated. Yeah. So yes, this is pretty much it.
This is amazing.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. It has been a long time to come to this point, and I just can't put in words how much tech and work we had to put into this. Big shout outs to the network team, big shout outs to the online services team, big shout outs to Chris to let us doing this.
And now you find out how new this is.
It's been a really long journey to get to this point. And I've got to say, the team has done an amazing job. They've been working diligently for the last 4 or 5 years. We've had a couple of false starts. We finally have an incredible, I mean, the way the replication layer works and how we can spin up servers and down and keep the state constant, even if a server goes down, is, I think, a genius design. And the first time I saw this, about 3 weeks ago, working fully, I cried. It's like giving birth. We did it!
I have absolutely no doubt about that. Anyone who has followed Star Citizen, and for those of you who haven't, this technology that they just displayed, even in an early state working, this was the core of the entire vision of this game. That the giant universe they want to let people play in. And I mean, the scale of this game is mind-boggling, to be quite frank. Because everything is at proper scale. You don't have spaceships and buildings that are bigger inside than they are outside just to save space. There's no tricks. Everything is built to scale. But Chris always wanted, for the multiplayer universe, all players, or as many players as possible, to all be interacting in the same universe. He wanted multi-crew spaceship gameplay between a dozen different ships, like huge fleet battles with ships that require 10, 20, 30, 40 players to run properly, all fighting together in the same area, which you could not do with current MMO standards. You just couldn't. Some of these ships in this game that require multi-crew like that, larger crews, they almost take up a full server just to run themselves when they're fully crewed. It's a mind-boggling achievement that they've gotten here. I have absolutely no doubt that the man cried, because if they hadn't pulled this off, everything that they've been trying to work for the last 10 years would have been a waste. The fact that they did pull this off is absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to see where this goes and what this game is capable of in the future. And I can't wait to see what this technology in particular does, not just for Star Citizen, but for gaming as a whole. Because this makes like Ready Player One size community gaming events and games and whatnot possible. I was blown away by this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed a deeper dive into the inner workings of the technologies behind the game that is known as Star Citizen. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Honestly, let me know your thoughts in the comments. No, for those of you who've already commented about it, I do not believe Star Citizen is a scam. I've been alpha testing it for most of its existence, and I've seen the progress. It's not a scam. Subscribe if you're new to help me grow the channel, and if you want to see more of what I do. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed this. I've been Rage at Games. Bye-bye.